stuff.
When Sony announced that it was going to reboot the live-action Resident Evil film series, I was cautiously optimistic, yet curious to see how director Johannes Roberts would stick to the source material after a promising first trailer. Unfortunately, Welcome to Raccoon City is disappointing. It's got some interesting ideas, but between the cheesy writing that doesn't do its thinly sketched characters much justice and a rushed third act, it'll be hard to rewatch this one as a fan of the series.
Raccoon City. Better you than me.
Watch out!
Welcome to Raccoon City's plot adapts the stories of the first two Resident Evil games, with one portion of the story focusing on Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, and Albert Wesker as they explore the Spencer Mansion, while the other storyline focuses on Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield as the duo look for a way out of Raccoon City before the town explodes. The cast isn't a problem, with a solid performance from each fitting mostly to their game counterparts. Despite a good performance from Avon Jogia, there is somewhat of an annoying issue in the way Leon's written here. His background's been changed a little bit, and he's still considered that rookie member of the Force as he was in Resident Evil 2. Yet most of the scenes with Leon had him either being extremely incompetent or taking the brunt of the joke. I can appreciate the screenplay leaning into his inexperience, but the gag quickly grew tiresome. My biggest concern going into the movie, however, was the fact that it was sandwiching the plots of two video games together, and a relatively lean runtime of 107 minutes does indeed make the entire product feel extremely rushed once the third act approaches. That said, I wasn't expecting it to be a beat-by-beat repeat of the first two games, and why should it be? Still, it might have been a more realistic goal to focus on, say, the story of just one of the games, rather than trying to figure out how many key plot points from both they could shove into a short runtime. Meanwhile, the titular setting is suitably intriguing. In the first act, Roberts sets up Raccoon City as a decaying town in economic shambles after Umbrella, the powerful and extremely influential corporation, leaves but with a few employees left. The atmosphere and several scenes that focus on the city itself really help bring a fresh take on this location. It would have been nice to see just a little bit more of it, as a lot is left to your own interpretation. While there's a decent amount of zombies on screen, don't expect a ton of high-action undead slaying scenes. There is one scene in particular that feels both fun and tense, but if you're here for a constant barrage of zombie fighting action, you'll be disappointed. It's fun to catch some enemies from the first two games pop up, including Lisa Trevor, who originally appeared in the 2002 remake of Resident Evil. While she's still a tragic character negatively impacted by Umbrella's inhumane experiments, her screen time is disappointingly short, to the point where if she had been removed from the film entirely, it would not have too much impact on the overall story. Until the second act, when the infection begins to take over the city, there's a surprising lack of action. We do see some zombies breach the gate at the police station, but it's kind of a bummer to not get an extended look at them running around in this chaotic town. Sure, the main focus of Resident Evil 2 was mostly contained to the police station and a few other areas, but this movie felt like a missed opportunity to really flaunt how much damage was done to Raccoon City. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City is certainly not the worst video game adaptation or even the worst Resident Evil movie, but both bars are pretty low. Director Johannes Roberts does deserve some credit for sticking much more closely to the source material than the Paul W.S. Anderson films, but in a short runtime, a rushed third act, and a lack of elements to make the movie truly scary hold it back immensely. Nevertheless, the film should serve as passable fun for fans of the Resident Evil games, if only to find all of the Easter eggs and references scattered throughout. For all things Resident Evil, games and movies, keep it locked to IGN.